Alex McCord, and welcome to The Real Deal on TheStir.com. Today we are discussing Marriage Boot Camp reality stars, the second episode of Kandi's Wedding, the latest spin-off from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and the premiere of Season 9 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, because of course, we can't look away. First, let's get to Marriage Boot Camp. Episode 2 of Marriage Boot Camp reality stars, and I am shocked at the difference between this and VH1 couples therapy. It's really a 180. Whereas couples therapy seemed to be more a couples retreat of people who happen to work in the entertainment business, Marriage Boot Camp seems to frame their participants as characters on the shows they came from. There's a lot of showmanship, a lot of razzle-dazzle, and in my opinion so far, not a whole lot of actual therapy. Counselors Jim and Elizabeth use a variety of exercises, such as a fake press conference, a newsstand with tabloid headlines, and evaluating each couple with a rating system similar to the TV viewership ratings that executives live and die by. I did wonder whether the gimmicks, such as putting on a suit and walking into a circus-style ring of fire, are actually helpful. But then I thought, well, if you're dealing with big melodramatic personalities, maybe you need a big melodramatic exercise in order to get through to them. I hope that this helps. And of course it does entertain the viewers. But speaking of personalities, let's discuss when reality genres collide. Because do you realize we've got one of each here? With Tanisha and Clive, we've got the low-down, dirty fight show, Bad Girls Club, where the biggest, baddest cat in the house wins. Gretchen and Slade bring the docudrama soap opera vibe with The Real Housewives. JWoww and Roger are selling the MTV party genre with Jersey Shore. Tracy and Kevin have a family show, The Braxton Family Values, and then you've got Trista and Ryan Sutter, the Disney princess story, The Bachelor, Bachelorette, owned by ABC and Disney, that is happily ever after dreams come true. So, if you put all these reality prototype characters into one house, whom do you think is going to steal the show? Yes, at the moment, the producers or Jim and Elizabeth or all of them together are letting Tanisha walk away with the show, which is awful for the other participants. The problem is Tanisha's style of reality really is a competition of naked aggression to put on the biggest, loudest show, steal all the drama and the screen time. And in a way, Tanisha is simply doing what she's been conditioned to do. But so far, she's sucking all the energy out of the house, which is not fair to the other cast. I will give Tanisha one point, however. When she went after Clive in their bedroom, it turns out she was angry that she gave him a list of things to do and pack before they entered the house, and he didn't follow through. So, from someone who's done this before, these shows are filmed 24/7 for 2 or 3 weeks, and you don't get to leave the house unless it's a filmed field trip. If you forgot something, tough, you live without it. So if Tanisha had things she needed for herself or Clive and he didn't pack them, she has a right to be angry. However, that does not give her the right to hit him. I wasn't surprised that both Ryan and Gretchen stepped into the Tanisha and Clive drama, and I hope Tanisha will realize that in a group retreat situation, you get just as much out of the other couples, what to do, what not to do, as you do the counselors. I seriously hope the producers realize that this is not the Tanisha show, or else it may become unwatchable. Let's move on to Bravo, where we're seeing episode 2 of Kandi's Wedding, the latest Real Housewives of Atlanta spin-off. It's a coming to America wedding, and I have to say, out of all the Bravo wedding spin-offs we've ever seen, this is one where I'm actually interested. I'll tell you why. In this episode, Blessings and Dressings, we see a lot of one classic reality TV device. He said, she said. The first example is between Kandi's father and mother, with Kandi stuck in the middle trying to figure out who's telling the truth, who's lying, or who's exaggerating. Mama Joyce always told her that Daddy abandoned her. Daddy, who is now Pastor Daddy, says that Mama spent too much time with the aunties, drank and smoked too much, and had a restraining order against Daddy so he couldn't come around. So now Kandi's got a second storyline. Not only does she have conflict between Mama Joyce and Todd, but between Mama and Daddy too. Who's right? Certainly, through the editing of Mama Joyce, we are conditioned to believe that she is the one either lying or exaggerating. She is getting the crazy edit. And by the way, Todd Tucker's production company is the one filming this show. This is not an accident. When confronted with Pastor Daddy's side of the story, Mama Joyce lifted up her hands and invited God to strike her dead. So yeah, sure, she's telling the truth, right? Regardless of which story is correct, the big payoff came with Pastor Daddy agreeing to officiate the wedding, which is wonderful and fantastic no matter what Mama Joyce has to say about it. So the second he said, she said, of course, is between Mama Joyce and Todd. Between last season's Atlanta Housewives, when Mama Joyce offered to pay people to take pictures of Todd with other women, to this spin-off where she's called Todd's father a pimp and his mother a prostitute, I'm surprised Todd is still around. Except, oh wait, he's filming a TV show. Maybe Mama Joyce is turning up the drama for television. I hope that's the case. I couldn't believe that she refused to walk her daughter down the aisle. But they're being very smart about this. Between the drama and the fact that Real Housewives of Atlanta is in the title, this is a very calculated move, and I'm falling in line. I can't wait to see what happens. What about you? Finally, last night we had the premiere of Season 9 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and I will freely admit this is the first time in my life I have ever watched their show. Those of you who follow my fashion blog will know that I write about the Kardashians all the time with their sartorial hits and misses, but I had never seen them on television before. It is very calculated to look real, isn't it? I was fascinated by the production values, the handheld video camera, the fluorescent light, the natural light, and the quick and even blurry zooms and pans back and forth and in and out. I think this style was chosen on purpose to make it look like grandma's in the corner shooting home video. And they don't do elaborate green screen for interviews. They don't have elaborate title sequences like the Housewives. There's a lack of slickness that in and of itself is very slick. It's calculated to look down home. That's very smart. Now there's a little whiplash between what feels real and what feels engineered. I felt like Kim was reading off cue cards at the beginning when she told her mother she'd rather be Debbie Downer than Debbie Desperado. She could barely get her words out. It looked like she was reading a teleprompter. On the other hand, when Kim told Chloe she had to face up to moving out of her house, the words flowed. It seemed natural and organic. Ditto the trampoline scene. Now, of course, it's a producer setup saying, oh, wouldn't it be cute to film a scene of you guys jumping on a trampoline? But the act of jumping on the trampoline gets them out of their heads and they just talk. Ditto Scott and Courtney. They had a lot of genuine moments when they were talking about Scott's depression and Courtney's need to open up and be more emotionally available. But then you skip to the end where Scott slyly asks Courtney, what do you do all day? And then that is a made-for-TV one-liner. It's an inside joke to the way they are portrayed in the media. It feels to me like some things happen naturally and some things are completely set up. And the editing between the two is so lightning fast, you can't tell the difference. In interviews, I noticed the girls' words being intercut mid-sentence, so there are some obvious producer choices, but at the same time, the whole home video feel of the show makes you feel like you're spending Christmas at your rich Aunt Sally's. All behind-the-scenes gossip aside, the Kardashians phenomenon is proof that family shows work. When you're a blood relative and all of your family participates, so no one's left out, it is harder for the show to go dark and dirty, which gives Kris and her brood an advantage over any of the housewives, even New Jersey. And they are executive producers on the show, so ultimately they control what happens and doesn't. Or if they're not the only voice, they are a voice, as opposed to the housewives who have no voice. Season 9 is going to be big, with the separation of Kris from Bruce, as well as the big fat enormous Kimye wedding. So, are you addicted? Let me know what you thought in the comments. For now, I am Alex McCord. You're watching The Real Deal on thestir.com. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, and see you tomorrow.